was alone all Sunday afternoon, cutting brush in his uncle's overgrown horse pasture, where time always seemed to stand still. The remaining horses wandered around like ghosts, ribs visible, eyes dulled. Picking through thistles and dust, the good forage long vanished. The land was choked with elm, black locust, and juniper, as if the earth itself was trying to reclaim what man once cleared. At 7 feet tall, Dudo Jr. was a dim, boy beast with a chainsaw, capable of devouring an acre of thick brush in an hour when not hungover. Earlier to dodge the heat, but last night the bar was buzzing with activity. His friends convincing him to stay for one beer and then another. Now the sun was setting in a blaze of orange and pink, casting strange shadows of Dudo Jr. working, trying to make up for lost time. Jr. was dehydrated and close to exhaustion, and only half of the pasture had been cleared. He wiped his brow, smeared with sawdust and sweat, adjusted his crusty bib overalls, and yanked the chainsaw to life. Sloppy, tired, and half-focused, he haphazardly swung at a twisted juniper limb. A branch snapped, coiled, and struck him across the face. The saw slipped, biting deep into the meat of his left arm, just above the elbow. Blood spilled fast, dark and thick, soaking his overalls in red. Above, the sky dimmed, the last light swallowed by the hills. And there Dudo Jr. lay, bleeding out, tangled in juniper branches. Fading in and out of consciousness, Dudo Jr. could hear what he thought was the rustle of horses at the far end of the pasture, and the wild sound of screech owls in the trees near the boarded-up barn. But there was another sound, something unfamiliar farther down the hollow towards the river. a sound absolutely foreign and terrifying to the boy. Like God soaring through the infinite heavens. Dudo Jr. looked off towards the river, anticipating death. Losing blood, quickly felt the cool breeze and smelled cut juniper wood. When out of nowhere a glowing orb shot straight up out of the dark water and hovered silently. Adrenaline peaking, Dudo Jr. no longer felt afraid of death. He was in awe. It was not a UFO or an angel, but something ancient from the earth. And it spoke through sound, but through the ground. Through vast mycelium networks connected to everything. It told Dudo Jr. to protect the oak woodlands next to his uncle's pasture. The woodlands doomed to become a cornfield. The bulldozers already lined up for next week. It was something ancient, born not of sky, but root and stone and deep fungal communication with everything green and rooted. The orb thrummed, not just in the air, but through the ground. Through vast whispering veins of mycelium thought. Speaking a language not heard, but felt in bone and loam and dream. A familiar voice that was both whisper and deluge sang into him. Child of sun and moon, the oaks call thee brother. Robed head of ferns, cat child tutored by the learned. Fox-walked groves wrapped round thy family's hedgerow. Hear the cry of earth's intent, universal dim boy Dudo. Bulldozers inch and breathe in blind suicide death ditches. Their cold steel teeth ache to grind centuries into dust and erosion. But thou, last boy of dusk bloodline, standing in the breach, protect the woodland from man's ignorance, where owls weave silence and spirits roost. River run past, the flying squirrel, the sacred morel mushroom. The river bluffs around him were brimming with life. Steep banks covered with May apples and maiden's hair fern, shagbark hickory and dead snags for bats and woodpeckers. Let not the root be traded for the plough. Save the moss-choked altar from the cornfield's sterile chemical death. For I am the wet black song beneath everything. I am the cradle of fungi. Queen oak, the humming dirt beneath your feet. Rise, Dudo, and hold the line. The orb dimmed. Dudo Jr. felt rejuvenated and stood up to inspect himself. Somehow he could find no sign of blood. Just a cleanly removed arm below the elbow. Now in his mind's eye he could see the bulldozers just over the hill. He clenched a fistful of dirt with his one remaining left hand. The earth had spoken. And now he had no choice but to listen. Dudo Jr. sprang into action and headed into the woods. The flora and fauna sang to him. His senses were brighter and more open. He felt no pain from his missing arm. He no longer felt hungover. The lenticels in the trees breathed with him. The stomaters and the leaves spoke strange whispers. He was aware of photosynthesis. The puddles vibrated with muck. The frogs and insects sang in tune. Feeling like a child again. He was ecstatic. He contained multitudes. He moved uphill through the bluffs, loafing and laughing, towards the parked bulldozers and excavators, earth destroyers. Some level of empathy for the simpletons who operated them. The Joe Sixpacks and the corn farmers. He wished they could become what he had. Touched, awake aware, empathetic for all forms of life on Earth. No, He did not have empathy for the machines. Dudo Jr. reached the clearing at the edge of the woods, where the equipment was lined up. He climbed into the first giant yellow machine and found the keys conveniently left in the ignition. He started it up with his one remaining hand and turned the giant tracked monster down the dirt road toward the river. The machine creaked slowly down the dirt road. Dudo Jr. struggled with the controls, inching toward his goal. He arrived at the old boat ramp, lined up the machine, and somehow pulled all the levers forward with his one good hand, and bailed off just in time, as the bulldozer submerged into the river, and disappeared into its brown, polluted water. Dudo Jr. sang as he watched, the words coming from the ether.
The apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun, passing cultures, and I thought, I'm vanishing, with flowering stream of consciousness, down river, the pumpkin patch shadows are, just moon songs in the morning, the paintings that cease to be visible, a hidden apple tree. Beyond, pre-settlement petroglyph of a beast, as the sun reigns, a buffalo nation returns. The moon, with golden apples for the horses, all four grasses, in all directions, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun, passing cultures, and I thought, I'm vanishing.
Through the dark, Dudo Jr. returned to the parked equipment. He was climbing into the giant excavator when the headlights of a crew cab pickup popped over the hill. He ducked into the cab of the excavator as gunshots erupted into the air. 5 large rednecks piled out of the truck, running his way and screaming. Dudo Jr. locked the cab and fumbled with the ignition, just as the 5 bubbers began climbing onto the machine. He grabbed the levers and swung the shovel wildly, smashing the pickup as the angry rednecks pounded on the windows, shouting obscenities. Dudo Jr. steered the giant machine slowly toward the river. And to calm himself, he sang the song of the orb.
The silver apples of the moon, silver apples, the golden apples of the sun, the golden apples of the sun, the golden apples of the sun, the golden apples of the sun.
As Dudo Jr. approached the river in the excavator, the sun began to rise, and the dawn chorus of birds was deafening. The angry bubbers were still in pursuit on foot. keeping pace with the slow crawl of the giant machine. The sunrise was brighter and more colourful than any Dudo Jr. could remember. He wondered if the out-of-breath fat fuckers chasing him had ever noticed birdsong or a sunrise. Dudo Jr. drove the excavator down the boat ramp and bailed off into the current of the river. The men were furious. Straddling a large log with his legs, he used his one remaining arm and hand to flip the pursuing Bubbers the bird, as the top of the excavator disappeared into the murk and mud of the Missouri. Covered in mud, Dudo Jr. floated down the river on his log for most of the morning, avoiding snapping turtles and pieces of metal debris. On one occasion, he observed state patrol cars above him on a bridge as he floated under. He ducked under the water and held his breath as long as he could. The officers, oblivious and only half awake, looked over the bridge eating donuts and drinking coffee. It was only around 9 a.m. and someone had wasted no time contacting the authorities. The current of the river and the warmth of the sun lulled Dudo Jr. to sleep. He was exhausted. He had been a busy boy. He drifted in and out of sleep on the log, astral projecting. He spoke with the river, speaking again. I thought that history inside of itself was evil. Evil history inside a hollow oak. Hollow evil follows smooth, dirty river on a slow, warm morning. Alone late at night in a meadow, where settlers once held revivals. I'm looking at my shadow dressed as a scarecrow, feeling as if I was mocking. The leaves and torchlight moving everything in the woods at once. Someone once told me that the I Ching contains our DNA sequence in 64 hexagrams.
I want this poem to contain
the windmill and cabin at the depths of Quack Hollow, the clusters of stars, and Dudo Jr.
every full moon,
looking for his amputation in the cellar.
Just down the hill from Half-Breed Cemetery.
It was late in the afternoon when Dudo Jr. floated beneath an old railroad trestle. The air was heavy and humid, and he was exhausted. Huge thunderheads towered above. He knew a storm was coming. The tension pressed on him, both physically and spiritually. Not far off, a freight train had been idling for hours, its low hum vibrating through the air. From the river, he caught sight of an open boxcar. He scanned the area for police and bubbers,
then slowly emerged from the water, sopping wet and covered in mud. Barefoot, he slipped through a thick screen of willows and cottonwoods, then climbed a steep, muddy bank into the open boxcar. Safe at last, Dudo Jr. collapsed and slept for 10 hours. When he awoke, the train was already moving, the sun just peeking over the eastern horizon. He could smell the scent of pine and could make out mountains in the distance.
Suddenly, the train jolted and slowed. He heard the sound of dogs barking and men's voices shouting. 3 railroad workers appeared in the doorway of the boxcar and spotted him. They grabbed one of his legs and yanked him from the boxcar, slamming him onto the hard ground, where they began kicking him in the ribs. "Stay off our trains, dirtbag." Dudo Jr. spit up blood, laughing. The railroad boys had no idea who he was. He must have made it into Colorado overnight. The train slowly pulled away, and Dudo Jr. sat in the weeds, wondering what kind of trouble he could get into out west.
That was me. Hello, please make some contact with us so we can remain believers. Please give us some sign, some sort of sign that we're connected to you.
Now, a year later, the privet's green shadow haunts the empty lane, and Dudo Jr. sits slack-jawed under the old oak tree with a full moon illuminating his white plastic lawn chair, scratching his balls.
Now unfazed by his father's disappearance, mumbling under his breath, Dudo Jr. speaks, "The moon, the night shadow sneaking through the brambles, the weight of history,
The flawed machinery of the human mind." Dudo hunts ghosts, Violet washes the dishes and smokes a cigarette. Something else in the backyard breathes again and looks for Dudo.
Thinking of his father, Dudo Jr. plucks an apple and contemplates Eve's fall in the Garden of Eden.
Could the apple represent Homo sapiens' development of
Self-consciousness?
Or does the apple represent agriculture and its destruction of God's perfect creation? Dudo Jr. shuts his eyes and flows back into deep history. He reverses Eve's actions, begins to dissolve his false self, and for a brief time,
Dudo Jr. is free. Free from endless patriarchy and suffocating tradition. Free from colonizer culture and its low mentality. Free from 2 old men arguing about golf on television.
Free from football,
football, and more football.
Free from his false self, his false sense of
false self, and his true sense of false self, etc., etc., etc.